Hi everyone. So my name is Ella, and I wanted to give my first impressions on this lyre that I got from Amazon. It's called the Joygood 19-string lyre. I think you can also find it under like moon harp, but as you can see, it has 19 strings, and they range from F3 to C6. So, I picked this lyre because it looked like an interesting shape. And it was just kind of overall unique from, all the other ones that are on Amazon. These holes right here, they're probably just for putting your hand through, or your finger through, so you can hold it and play it. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work with playing with both hands. I mean, I could probably just play, the lower strings with my thumb if I were to do that. What else here? So it also came with some picks, extra strings, and a tuning wrench. Oh, and also one of those like cleaning cloths. And it also came with this handy dandy little case bag. It's got like a little compartment here that you can put your accessories in, and then the main compartment. So that's kind of helpful. Okay, so obviously we all know that when we get a new lyre, I don't even know how to pronounce it. I like to say lyre. But a lot of us know that when we get a new one, it can kind of take a while for the strings to settle. I actually just got this today in the mail, so it's not even been a day. And I ordered it on the 23rd of April, and it said it was coming from China. And so I wasn't going to expect it until I think June 7th is what the estimated arrival date was. But I got it today, May 6th. I think it's the 6th or 7th, around there. Anyway, so talking about tuning. So when lyres or lyres or stringed instruments, a lot of times when they get shipped to us, hopefully whoever is shipping them has loosened the strings or turned them all flat, just so like none of the strings break with any tension from shipping. So it was definitely really, really out of tune and flat when I got it. Oh, also I want to point out or say that it was wrapped pretty well. There was some bubble wrap, and then also it was wrapped like in one of those like little layers of styrofoam bag things, I guess. But yeah, it was wrapped pretty well. Let's see here. Oh, so tuning. So what I usually like to do when I tune instruments that have a lot of strings, I like to go ahead and tune like all of the F's, and then all of the G's, and then all of the A's at once, just to kind of make it easier, but then also give like the strings that are kind of next to it time to kind of like settle or stretch. Like a lot of times when you're tuning a string and you think you got it, and then you go to the next string, it can completely change the string that you were tuning before. So I kind of tend to like to do that when it comes to instruments that have like a ton of strings. And I mean, that's just me, I guess, but it's something that I like to do. Okay, so let's see here. It's kind of a pain in the ass, pain in the butt to try and tune something like this when you first get it. Hopefully in about a week, the strings will stretch and they'll start to settle. I'll probably do a follow-up video just so y'all can see if that happened. So I probably went through tuning like this whole thing, I want to say maybe like 3 to 4, maybe even 5 times, just to kind of get it in the range of where it's supposed to be. So some things that I noticed is that it tended, the strings, when you tune them to right where it's supposed to be, after a bit, like even after, you know, you take off the tuning wrench, the strings have a tendency to kind of shift down one whole step. So for example, when I was trying to tune it to this G3 over here, I would get it to G3, a third octave of G, I guess. And then when I would move on to other strings and then come back to this one, it had moved down to F3. So, and it seemed to happen more often with like the lower strings, the lower octave. The higher strings were not as problematic, but you know, they still shifted a little bit. Let's see here. So what I ended up actually doing is I started to tune the strings like a half to a whole step higher, so that when they did kind of like, I don't know, like settle, or yeah, settle, I guess, then they would actually go back and settle to what it was supposed to be at. Obviously, this is kind of a cheaper instrument. It was about maybe like 140, like a little less than 140 bucks on Amazon. And so I just ended up kind of tuning most of the lower octaves about a whole step up. That way when they started to shift down, it would actually be to the note it's supposed to be. And I also had it tuned to where A equals 440 hertz. And I tried to do it to where it was in the key of G major. So like you have the F sharp, that's like the only sharp in that scale. So yeah, and then as far as playing it, what I like to do is I kind of like to take my hand here, just kind of put it through those holes, and then it's also got like a flat bottom, so it's kind of easier to just set it between your legs. I don't know if you can actually see this here, right? So as far as like my opinions with how it sounds so far, the strings, they actually sound pretty resonant. I didn't really notice a whole lot of buzzing or anything like that. And also one thing I forgot to add when I was doing the tuning, I am a longtime violinist and I also play the piano. And so a lot of times when the pegs like slip, I try to kind of like with a violin, I would kind of try to push it in a little bit or put a little bit of weight on the pegs as I turn it. Obviously, you don't want to do a really drastic or big turn like that, because a string could break and hit you in the face or poke you in the eye or something, and we don't want that. So that's kind of how I did it. But again, I'm probably going to have to tune this every day for maybe a week or two, hopefully, until the strings settle. But as far as how they sound, like not with note wise, but kind of with like the resonance and everything, it sounded pretty good. Let me play each string for you here. So it's very, very out of tune. But yeah, I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really hear a whole lot of buzzing or anything like that. So yeah. And I also really liked the design. If you can see all of that here. Something kind of pretty. Different from a lot of those lyres that are like the two-handed ones where they're like a kind of like a U shape, or like the deer ones, or that like Acklot, I think is one that makes it. Walter, I think, makes also some of them as well. So yeah, so far so good. Let's see what the back looks like. The wood seems to be pretty good quality. I don't remember what it is, but it'll say on the Amazon listing. And so, yeah, just kind of wanted to give my first impressions of this guy here. Again, this is the Joygood Lyre / 19 strings, but they also have one for 16 strings as well. This is my second lyre. My first one, it's actually a Brandon John one that's about 7 strings tuned in a pentatonic scale. And so I kind of wanted to, I guess, step up from that in terms of having more strings. Not quality, obviously it's gonna be not as good. But yeah, looks like it's gonna be a fun little guy here. And maybe in about a week or two, I will do an updated video. So yeah, here's the final view. And also I noticed it has this little notch here. I'm not exactly sure what that's for. And I'm also gonna try and figure out a way if I can put some sort of like a strap on here as well. I'm just gonna kind of have to play around with it. But there you go. A little close up here of, oh yeah, it goes from I don't know if I said this, but it goes from F3 to C6. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, and happy playing.